Welcome back to Celebrial, where we break down the stories the industry hopes you're too distracted to notice. Now let's get into it. Imagine the king of hip-hop's empire starting to crumble. Not in a courtroom, not in the headlines, but in the shadows where old enemies are circling and past incidents are bubbling back up. The same forces that took down Diddy might be getting ready to aim straight at Jay-Z next. We've watched Sean Combs fall in real time. The prison sentences, the new probes, the testimonies painting him as a predator hiding behind power. But now insiders are whispering that the spotlight is shifting, and this time it's pointed directly at Sean Carter. The question isn't just whether Jay-Z has skeletons in his closet, it's whether those skeletons are about to explode out and drag his billion-dollar legacy down with them.
Weirdo. I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever.
And we can't ignore the timing, because just as Diddy's legal nightmare deepens, with the LA County Sheriff's Department launching a new investigation into alleged misconduct from 2020 and his release date suddenly changing, voices like Gene Deal are turning the conversation toward Jay-Z. The message is clear. If one mogul's past can unravel this fast, why not another? And when you look at the patterns, the manipulation rumors, the whispers about questionable behavior, the decades of carefully polished public image.
Why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time. Like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
It's hard not to wonder, is Jay-Z next? The man who built an empire through power moves and elite connections might be walking straight into a reckoning that feels impossible to dodge. Because after Diddy's collapse, the rules have changed. The shields are fading, and the stories once buried deep are now resurfacing with a vengeance. Let's start with the contradictions.
You understand? I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their brand.
Jay-Z has spent years shaping the image of a self-made titan, a husband, a father, a cultural architect who rose from the streets to the boardroom. But behind that polished veneer, some insiders claim there's another version of him. A shadow operator who's allegedly betrayed allies, ducked conflicts when convenient, and kept an iron grip on the people closest to him. These aren't just loose whispers. They're part of a growing chorus that's getting louder now that Diddy's downfall has emboldened people to speak up.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyoncé, who was struggling.
And the names behind the claims aren't small either. Take the explosive accusations from Jaguar Wright, who didn't just call Jay-Z controlling. She went public with stories about his influence over Beyoncé, describing their marriage as more strategic than romantic. The imagery she painted had fans stunned. Then there's the former bodyguard known online as Uncle Ron, who went viral after claiming Jay-Z maintained a level of dominance over Beyoncé that blurred personal and professional lines.
Threatening. I mean, let's just be real for a second. There are a lot of lawyers who call this legal extortion, and that this is the way the legal system works, which is you threaten somebody with reputational harm, and in this case, it's interesting that Jay-Z, who's very wealthy, said it would be financial ruin.
Whether people believed him or not, the story caught fire instantly and made everyone look at the Carters in a different light. These claims describe a marriage built on business moves, not love. A partnership where power outweighs emotion. And if even a sliver of those allegations holds truth, it raises a much bigger question. What else has Jay-Z been hiding all these years? The parallels to Diddy's situation are impossible to ignore.
And we do have some breaking news that we want to bring to you. It was being reported by TMZ and now Fox News. We are learning that Jay-Z is accused of raping a 13-year-old girl. That is new in the Diddy.
Both men rose to power in the same era. Both wielded influence like a weapon, and both have faced whispers about questionable behavior for decades. But where Diddy's alleged actions are now being dissected in courtrooms and official investigations, Jay-Z's past has largely been shielded by reputation, legal muscle, and a polished PR machine.
Jay-Z got his ass whooped by his sister-in-law on camera. What's her name? Solange. You got his ass. The feds ain't step in and do nothing. The feds don't care about you getting your ass whooped.
That shield, however, is starting to crack. The same tactics that once kept scandals buried, NDAs, strategic silence, intimidation through lawsuits, don't hit the same in 2025. The culture has shifted, survivors are speaking out, and the public is no longer separating the art from the artist. When Diddy was convicted on federal charges this summer, the message was loud and clear. No amount of fame can outrun accountability forever. So why would Jay-Z be the exception?
Yeah.
At this point, I would want, why?
Now let's talk about patterns, because this is where things get eerie. Diddy's downfall didn't happen overnight. It unraveled slowly, piece by piece, fueled by lawsuits, investigations, and people refusing to stay quiet. And when you look at Jay-Z's situation, the trajectory looks uncomfortably similar. For decades, there have been questions surrounding his relationships, his business moves, and the way he handled certain women in the industry. Rumors that never quite disappeared, even if they weren't fully proven.
Into those things that's in the indictment. Cassie has not denied it, but they've came out and said, that Diddy used to like to watch Cassie. That's what he's into. Some men like to do that stuff. There's not a crime in that. But yes, Ray J, from what I was told, from being inside at the highest level, that Jay-Z likes to watch Beyoncé with different men, such as Ray J.
And his former business partner, Dame Dash, has repeatedly described a deep tension between them that he says stemmed from jealousy, power struggles, and emotional obsession revolving around past relationships. Those old stories paint a picture of a man who demanded control in every corner of his life. And losing control was the one thing he couldn't tolerate. Then there are the Foxy Brown rumors, revived by Wendy Williams of all people, who casually suggested on her show that Jay-Z and Foxy had a romantic connection before Beyoncé.
I would hope he would think about it and this would be in his mind, but I wouldn't actually know what another person is feeling.
On its own, that might sound like pure tabloid talk, but when you layer it next to the claims from Jaguar Wright, who has been calling out both Diddy and Jay-Z for years, a darker narrative starts taking shape. Wright didn't just criticize Jay-Z's character, she framed him as part of a powerful system, one where influential men allegedly use their status to silence people and control the narratives around them. And if the entertainment world has learned anything from the Diddy situation, it's that when one story cracks open, more voices usually follow.
Walked away, got no money.
Got nothing.
Over.
And Jay-Z celebrated that, the fact that...
We should say, and it was filed by the lawyer who has filed a slew.
The timing of all this is no coincidence. Diddy's legal fallout has blown the doors wide open, and now the industry is watching closely for the next major name to face intense scrutiny. Just look at how fast the LA Sheriff's Department moved to investigate new claims against Combs. Claims that could seriously impact his future, if confirmed.
You say greed?
Greed.
The money?
Yes. Or the power, one of the two.
I mean, it looks more like power.
It's this spell, right?
Right.
That Jay got. That's why I kind of look at Kanye and Dame and all them. They the old me.
Right.
They the YouTube me.
Yeah. Right.
You understand what I'm saying? That this Dame look like the old YouTube me to me, because he hurt, bro.
Meanwhile, Jay-Z's name is getting pulled into the conversation, not by random gossip pages, but by people who were actually in the rooms where deals were made and alliances were broken. Gene Deal, someone with deep ties to hip-hop's inner circle, has been vocal about feeling Jay-Z betrayed people and played both sides whenever it benefited him. And then there's the R. Kelly chapter, where Dame Dash publicly expressed how upset he was that Jay-Z collaborated with Kelly. Not once, but twice, even though troubling concerns around Kelly were already widely discussed in the industry.
Seen Puffy independent. All the people that got hated on in the game, look where they ended up. So I can see my future. I can see what's going on here. This independency is gonna be big. I'm gonna have my own shit. But this ain't to just target him. I just book about my life, a movie about my life. Why not?
For Dash, it wasn't just a business disagreement. It felt like a moral line being crossed, and it made people wonder what Jay-Z was willing to overlook if the money was right. But here's where things get even more complicated. Jay-Z isn't just facing chatter about his personal life. Now people are questioning his business world too. The same empire that turned him into a billionaire, Roc Nation, Tidal, his huge web of investments, has always operated behind a thick curtain of secrecy.
I think I sent you that thing with Jazz. Jazz went in when they was going at it on Jay. But you look at the Jazz now, it's like he's on eggshells now. Like something happened. Like this can stop your career or whatever you doing. This is what I try to tell dudes, yo, whatever God got for you, I don't give a damn billionaire, whoever, this, that, and the third. You can't stop it.
And now, as Diddy's legal team scrambles to appeal his conviction, insiders are asking, who else in their circle could be vulnerable? Those RICO charges that nearly took Diddy down were built on the idea that his business dealings were tied to deeper wrongdoing. So people are wondering if similar scrutiny could one day land on Jay-Z's operations too. We already know he's faced lawsuits from investors, from artists.
Not just karma, that's just the forces of nature on how things work. You ruin people's lives, you do harmful things, and who's to say that he might ever pay that price? Who's to say he even done anything wrong to anybody else in his eyes? To me, that's not even the same person. That's someone else. It's not the Sean, the Jay I grew up with.
From former partners claiming they were shut out or misled. But what if those cases were just the surface? What if, like Diddy, Jay-Z's rise involved more than talent, timing, and hustle? And let's not forget the cultural moment we're living in. The public's tolerance for powerful men with complicated histories is at an all-time low.
It was, and for the case not to go how I was planning it, I really thought it was going to go different than.
The Me Too era didn't just expose individuals, it ripped apart entire systems that once protected them.
So, as we look at Jay-Z's life, he's a billionaire, married to Beyoncé. Do you feel like he's truly reaped the karma of all his actions?
Where the karma is at?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we don't see it.
Nah, well.
Or do you feel like he ever will?
I feel like you done people wrong, you done people wrong.
And Jay-Z, for all his carefully polished image as a family man and philanthropist, has never really addressed the unanswered questions floating around his past. He's never had to, until now. Because the same forces that brought down Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly, and now Diddy aren't disappearing anytime soon. They're gaining momentum. And if Jay-Z's name keeps popping up in these conversations, people believe it may only be a matter of time before someone with real leverage, an accuser, a former associate.
A move that he pulled, in your opinion?
Wow, I got a string of them, but look at me in my face, right? During my trial, look at me in my face telling me, yo, don't worry about it, bro. I got you. And I never see him again.
Maybe even a prosecutor, decides to pull the thread. And that's where things could shift fast. There's another layer too. Beyoncé, the most powerful woman in music. A global icon who built an entire legacy on strength, independence, and artistic control. If even a fraction of the rumors about tension in their marriage holds weight, the implications would be massive.
Man, this timeline is crazy, man.
I know. So many things coming at one time.
We're not just talking about a private issue. We're talking about a dynasty under pressure. The Carters aren't just a couple. They're a brand, a cultural institution tied into fashion, tech, activism, film, and music. And if the public ever believed that brand was built on an unhealthy foundation, the fallout wouldn't stay personal. It would shake the industry.
Thing that happened is Tupac's family is reportedly deciding to investigate the rumors that Diddy was involved in Tupac's.
Remember, Beyoncé has already hinted at turmoil before. Lemonade wasn't just music. It was a public moment of reckoning with betrayal and imbalance. But what if that chapter was only one piece of a much larger story? What if the Becky with the good hair situation was just the tip of what she was willing to share? Now let's connect the dots, because this is where the timing gets wild. Diddy's conviction came after a years-long investigation, one that began with a single voice and snowballed into a federal case. And some people think Jay-Z's situation could follow that same pattern if more individuals decide to speak up. The claims from Jaguar Wright and Uncle Ron may sound shocking to some, but they're not happening in isolation. They're part of a shifting culture where powerful men in entertainment are finally facing scrutiny for behavior that was once dismissed or brushed aside. And when patterns emerge, people start paying attention fast. Jay-Z, with decades of rumors around his business moves and connections to some controversial industry figures, is suddenly looking a lot more exposed than ever before. And we can't ignore the legal climate right now, not after everything happening with Diddy. Diddy's team is fighting to reduce his sentence, but the truth is he's in prison, his reputation is damaged, and his empire is collapsing. Jay-Z, meanwhile, has managed to avoid serious legal trouble for years, but that doesn't mean the pressure isn't building. Civil lawsuits, deeper questioning, public demand for transparency, none of it is off the table. And history shows us one thing. When the smoke starts rising, people begin searching for the fire. So where does that leave us? With more questions than answers. If Jay-Z's past really has unresolved issues, why haven't they surfaced sooner? Who's been protecting his image? And what happens if that protection fades? The pieces forming around him are starting to look unsettling. But reckonings don't happen overnight. They build slowly until something finally breaks. Diddy's downfall was the first crack in the dam, and Jay-Z could be the next shockwave if the pressure keeps rising. Which brings us to the real chilling question. If these whispers keep growing, who's going to be the next person to step forward? Because in the court of public opinion, one strong voice, one former associate, one leaked document, one person with nothing left to lose, can change everything. The dominoes are lined up. The only question now is which one falls first. The whispers about Jay-Z's betrayals aren't coming from random critics anymore. They're coming from people who were once close to him. Gene Deal, a name that still carries weight in hip-hop's underground circles, has been vocal about how Jay-Z allegedly turned on allies whenever it benefited him. This isn't just personal drama, it's a pattern. Deal claims Jay-Z didn't just outmaneuver rivals. He allegedly walked away from people the moment the stakes got high, leaving former partners exposed while he strengthened his own position. Sound familiar? Critics say it mirrors the same playbook Diddy used for years, cutting ties the moment someone became a liability. And now that Diddy's empire is collapsing, the big question is whether the people Jay-Z left behind are finally ready to talk. What makes all this even more damaging is how differently it looks compared to Jay-Z's public image. He raps about loyalty, moves like a chess master, and presents himself as the leader who always protects his circle. But behind the scenes, some stories paint a much colder version of him. Just look at his fallout with Dame Dash. Rockefeller was iconic until it imploded. Dash has openly said that personal tension between them became the beginning of the end, shifting everything about their partnership and revealing a side of Jay-Z fans who weren't supposed to see. Dame Dash has said for years that Jay-Z couldn't handle losing out to him, and that the resentment between them grew into something much colder. Then there's the controversy around Jay-Z working with R. Kelly, pushing forward with 2 projects, even though serious concerns about Kelly were already widely discussed in the industry. Dash said he wanted no part of the profits and directed his share toward Aaliyah's foundation instead, calling it a moral line he refused to cross. And that raises a deeper question people keep asking. If Jay-Z was willing to overlook that situation for business reasons, what else was he willing to overlook? Now look at the alliances that once made Jay-Z nearly untouchable. For years, he was protected by powerful connections, legal muscle, and a PR machine that could turn any scandal into a footnote. But that shield is showing cracks, especially now that Diddy's downfall has emboldened people who stayed quiet for decades. And it's not just old rivals like Dame Dash speaking up. It's former collaborators and insiders who claim they've seen the inner workings of Jay-Z's empire. Jaguar Wright didn't just criticize him, she described him as part of a broader system where people with power allegedly operated without accountability. Her claims repeat a pattern that some say echoes the same dark currents that surrounded Diddy. And if the Diddy case taught us anything, it's this. Once the dominoes start falling, they rarely stop at just one name. Even the legal landscape is shifting. Diddy's conviction wasn't only about his alleged actions. It focused on the structure of his empire, how to shape narratives and partnerships. If any of these whispers hold even a sliver of truth, the implications are massive. But here's the real problem. The entertainment industry was built on secrets, NDAs, hush agreements, silence disguised as professionalism. Jay-Z has always excelled at controlling his image, but that control only lasts as long as everyone stays quiet. And right now, that silence is cracking. Jay-Z's name is now at the top of that list. And it's not just because of his past, it's because of his present. The way he's allegedly handled these rumors, the way his team has reportedly moved to silence certain stories, the way he stays quiet while others speak, it's starting to look like a man with something to hide. And the timing couldn't be worse. We're in a cultural moment where people aren't just tired of powerful men dodging accountability. They're demanding justice, and the legal system is finally responding. Diddy's conviction wasn't just a personal collapse. It was a warning shot. A message that fame, money, and influence can't protect you forever. Jay-Z knows this. He's too smart not to. But knowing and preparing are 2 different things. And right now, it doesn't look like he's prepared at all. Lawsuits are stacking up. Whispers are getting louder. Longtime allies are distancing themselves slowly and quietly, just like they did before Diddy fell, because that's how this game works. First, the alliances crumble, then the secrets surface, and finally, the powerful fall. Let's be real. Diddy didn't go down because of one incident. It was a perfect storm. Cultural change, a legal system that finally stopped looking away, and a media landscape hungry for truth. Jay-Z is facing that same storm now. And if history repeats itself, this won't end clean. The public isn't buying silence anymore. They want answers. And if Jay-Z doesn't have the right ones, the fallout could be catastrophic. But reckonings don't hit all at once. They build slowly, one revelation at a time, until the pressure finally cracks the dam. Diddy's collapse was the first break. Jay-Z's could be the flood. And if that happens, it won't just be his reputation on the line. It'll be his empire, his legacy, and everything connected to his name. Because when the dominoes start falling, they don't stop with just one man. They take the whole structure down with them. So here we are, with more questions than answers. If Jay-Z's past is as dark as insiders claim, why hasn't it come out sooner? Who's been protecting him? And what happens when that protection finally disappears? Because in the court of public opinion, it only takes one. One accuser, one leaked document, one former ally with nothing left to lose. The dominoes are lined up. The only question is, which one drops first? Now it's your turn. Do you think Jay-Z's empire is about to crumble? Or is this just another storm he'll walk through untouched? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you're ready for the truth. Share this video with someone who follows the chaos. And don't forget to subscribe, because when the next bombshell hits, you'll want to be here first. Stay fierce. Stay curious. And remember, in the world of power and secrets, the truth always finds a way out. See you in the